Hey everyone, it's Alex, and today we're talking about the top 10 Pool 3 cards to unlock early in Marvel Snap. And guess what? If you've unlocked one of these cards early in your trek through Pool 3, my friend, you've won the lottery, because these cards are absolutely unbelievable. And in this guide, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you full deck lists for Pools 1 and 2 that include only this one Pool 3 card to help you get started experimenting with this newly unlocked card so that you can start experimenting with it and having some fun. Moreover, in the comments, I would love if you let me know what your first Pool 3 card unlock was and what you've unlocked so far, because I think it'd be really interesting to see what people are getting so far in their early trek. Moreover, if you'd like to support the series, press the like button. It's all that YouTube cares about, unfortunately. And if you're not subscribed yet, maybe you consider doing it. I don't know. Anyways, let's get started with deck number 1. Number 10 on our list of the top 10 cards to unlock in early Pool 3 is Rescue. If you get Rescue, congratulations, you have a truly remarkable card that is capable of doing incredible things. First of all, Rescue is an on-reveal that when you play a card there next turn, gets +5, similar to Hawkeye, except Hawkeye obviously is significantly weaker. Now, you might be thinking, Alex, this is kind of similar to Jessica Jones, just a little stronger. Well, there's a major play here that allows this deck to be super successful that unfortunately Rescue can do and Jessica Jones can't, and that is the combination of Rescue into Professor X. Because what you can do here is when you play Rescue, you have the card sitting there as a 4/4. If you play on top of her, she becomes a 4/9. And the advantage to that is you can play Professor X on top of her, lock down the location, get that +5 from Rescue, and essentially trade the location. Absolutely incredible combination, and that's what this deck is all about. This deck is all about creating a win condition around the Professor X and Rescue play. Moreover, you basically have an Ant-Man and Angela Zoo. You have the Scorpion to allow you to kind of trade more effectively into the mid game as you knock down the value of their individual units. You have Vision, who provides you with a lot of mobility and decision making in the event that you don't pull the Professor X. You can play the Vision into the Rescue and then have a Vision where you can then move on turn 6, and finally have the Chavez Closer, which also helps you to pull these cards a little faster. Regardless, this list is really awesome for someone just getting started with Rescue, and let's talk about card number 9. It is my belief that Mysterio is one of the highest skill cap cards in Marvel Snap. A card that truly makes waves as you start to get a little more familiar with the strategies and the macro elements of the game so that you can really take advantage of, well, the illusions that are incredibly fake. So if you've unlocked Mysterio, card number 9 on this list, my friend, you've got yourself a really interesting destroy deck mechanic here that you got to take advantage of, because Mysterio is a wonderful card. Basically, the way this deck works is you have Nova Killmonger combination. You play Killmonger later on, counter their Zoo effects, but also blow up your Nova. Moreover, if you're early in Pool 3, good chance you're still facing a lot of Sunspot and Infinite style decks. Moreover, you're basically using Carnage to wipe out the Mysterio. Remember that Mysterio, the illusions can actually feed the Carnages, which is very nice. Moreover, there's a major combination play that a lot of people don't know about. You usually want to play Mysterio on 4. You play Bishop on 3, and then when you play Mysterio, Bishop actually procs for each of the illusions. He comes down as 3 cards. So Bishop on 1 turn becomes a 3/4. It's one of the biggest combos in the game. So if you have Mysterio and you're looking for a way to use them properly, this is the deck for you. If you've unlocked Daredevil, my friend, you've unlocked one of my favorite cards in Marvel Snap, and one that gives you a lot of synergy with cards in Pool 1 and in Pool 2. Daredevil on turn 5 allows you to see the opponent's play before you actually do your own. That's a huge advantage. And if you actually consider for a second that you have cards like Hobgoblin in Pool 2, you have Professor X in Pool 1, you also have Gamora in Pool 1, you've got incredible turn 5 potential. Now, let's be honest, this deck is super greedy because you generally would never play both Hobgoblin, Professor X, and Gamora in one deck just for the sake of Daredevil. However, I'm doing this because you probably want to experiment with your new fancy card, and this is how you do it. So you can experiment with which one you like the best. You rather have Gamora? You should have 2 of the 3. So decide by experimenting which 2 of the 3 you really like. But overall, this deck is simply, you Zoo into the Angela. You can actually even have an Ant-Man here if you so wish for the Angela lane. That's another consideration as well. I like the White Queen because it gives you an alternate turn 6 play, gives you some information about the opposing player. Moreover, as a 4/6, she really helps to set up the lane for a Professor X play as well. She's a really big body 4/6. So overall, I do think this deck is really fun for Daredevil players, especially if you just unlocked him. He's a ton of fun, and you're going to find just how awesome he can be. Coming in at number 7 is Wave. Wave is an absolutely incredible card, and to be honest with you, if you've unlocked Wave this early in your Marvel Snap career, you've got yourself a fantastic card that's only going to age like fine wine as you unlock other fantastic cards too. Now, Wave does generally benefit from some more pull 3 cards, like large cards like Magneto and Death and stuff like that. But if you've got Wave, don't worry, I've got a deck for you, and it still takes advantage of a lot of Wave's capabilities. First of all, generally speaking, the way this deck works is you only have a couple value 1-drops. You have Iceman, you got Korg, you have the Domino for turn 2. It's important you have Domino because you don't really want to commit too many 2-cost cards to your deck because you are playing Wave Jubilee, and having large cards in your deck and in your hand are kind of really valuable here. Basically, the key component here is you play Wave on 3. What that allows you to do is allows you to play someone like Odin, which reprocs the Wave again, and your opponent's probably thinking, I can't really play anything here because even if they play one big card, it's unlikely they're holding 2 big cards in their hand, but your deck is designed for it. And then you can follow up with like a Hulk, or you can follow up with whoever and put a ton of value on the board. And moreover, it's also worth noting that with Wave, obviously your opponent gets the same effect. So if they do play a big card, like let's say they play their own Hulk, well, you just Shang-Chi it later on. And that's why Shang-Chi's in this list, because it kind of baits out a turn 4 large card that allows you to trade into it very effectively. Moreover, you have Jubilee, who's great. Jubilee, you don't generally play on turn 4. Jubilee's more like a turn 5 play, or even like a turn 4 play when you haven't actually drawn Wave. It's kind of like a backup plan. If you haven't drawn Wave, it's a good chance you can draw everyone else. And if you pull Wave from Jubilee, well, you just get to play your big cards anyway. Vision's a great card to play with Wave or to pull with Jubilee. The reason for this is because you can move him every turn, so you have multiple options throughout the game to really disorient your opponent and prevent them from playing a smooth game. Regardless, I do think this deck is really good. Wave is one of my favorite cards in the game, and if you unlocked her this early, you're off to an incredible start in Pool 3. Coming in at number 6 is Dracula. Dracula is an absolutely incredible card, and there's several archetypes that work around Dracula, and I really like that you pull this card because, well, Dracula is a card that really opens up a couple new possibilities on old, tested, and true decks that suddenly become way more viable. And so with this particular deck here, we're focusing in on the Dracula Apocalypse combination. Basically, you're playing in an Apocalypse discard style deck, but it's not just a full discard deck. Yes, you're using Morbius, so you want to get Morbius up to a little bit of value, but it's likely he's going to be like a 2/6, which is totally fine. It's like a lizard without the downside. Still pretty damn good. But realistically, you are dropping your other cards here. If you can blade and hit the Swarm, or if you can, hit Swarm with Swordmaster, that is super bonus as well. But realistically, you want to get some procs on the Apocalypse. But this is the key here. Let's say you don't actually hit Apocalypse at all, and you actually end up hitting Swarms and other things. That's okay. One key thing about Dracula to understand is at the end of the game, discard a card from your hand, and this has its power. That means Dracula actually procs a discard. That means is that when Dracula procs and discards Apocalypse, the Apocalypse actually becomes a 6/12, and Dracula takes the 6/12 and never a 6/8 because it's been discarded. That's a key consideration. Moreover, if you're able on turn 5 to dump your hand, you'll notice there's no 5-drop. You want to use Blade in conjunction with the others to dump your hand on turn 5. You are guaranteed to have Apocalypse and Chavez in your hand. That allows you to play Chavez and then discard Apocalypse. So you play a 6/9 and you end up discarding a 6/12. Absolutely insane synergy. This might be one of the strongest decks on this list, and one that you'll find a ton of success with if you pull Dracula early. Coming in at number 5 is Doctor Doom, one of my absolute favorite cards in the game. I feel like I'm saying that a lot, but I mean, it is my top 10, so of course I love these cards. Anyways, Doctor Doom's an incredible pull, so congratulations, you've pulled them nice and early. I mean, how is there not to love? You basically put 15 power on the board, spread across 3 lanes. That's incredible. That's incredible. And there's, guess what, a lot of synergy with pool 1 and 2 cards. He's basically the ultimate zoo drop, so let's look at this awesome deck. Basically, what you got is you got your Chavez, who, by the way, you could remove Chavez if you really wanted to. It's worth noting. Even though that the Doombots are 6 power, which prevents a Khazar synergy, they do synergize with Blue Marvel, which is great. And if you happen to pull someone like Patriot, they synergize there as well. So if you get really lucky, there's another deck for you. Regardless, it's still the same 1-cost strategy where you 1-cost Zoo into the Angela. Ant-Man, another consideration here. I like the Lizard play because it allows you to play into Storm. Now you might be thinking, Sandman, Alex, you got a Sandman there in a Zoo-style deck. Well, that's because you Sandman on turn 4, and then you basically Blue Marvel or Spider-Woman, or you Doctor Doom and Chavez. Your turn 5/6 is very clean, and you don't want them to zoo because you're the one who's zooing. So Doctor Doom and Sandman actually work very well together because you have this like reach where you can contest multiple lanes that the opponents simply can't. So this represents a very good pool 3 early deck for Doctor Doom. Coming in at number 4 is Green Goblin. Green Goblin is absolutely incredible. And you might be thinking, Alex, Green Goblin is a 3-cost -3. Hobgoblin's way bigger. Hobgoblin's like a -8. That's so much better, isn't it? Well, no. I actually think Green Goblin's one of the best cards in the game. And number 4 on this list, if you've unlocked Green Goblin already, you are golden because you have a card that you can slot into almost any deck. Seriously, as a 3-drop, it can go into almost any single deck you have and do work for you. It is that good. I do think, like I'm illustrating here, it works well in disruption decks. In fact, I recently highlighted disruption decks on my channel, and I think that Green Goblin really does wonders in these types of decks because not only does it occupy a slot on the board, but it gives you some, negative energy on that side too. And that allows you to do some mind game stuff like you got the Claw Onslaught combo, you have Jessica Jones, you got Iron Man, and again, you got more disrupt than Sandman. Listen, I love Sandman. I know he's frustrating to play with sometimes, guys, but Sandman absolutely destroys Pool 3. If you're entering Pool 3, Sandman's going to be one of your best friends as you counter fools nonstop trying to play these tricked out combos, okay? Trust me, I know it's hard to play around at first. Once you get used to Sandman, you're going to see guys just getting so angry at you because you played that damn card, trust me. Regardless though, I do think Green Goblin does work wonders in disrupt style decks, but can really honestly be played almost anywhere. He's that versatile. Coming in at number 3 is Wong, and let me just say this right off the bat. If you are early in your Pool 3 trek and you've unlocked Wong, you are absolutely blessed. You are going to infinite because this card is not only one of the best cards in Marvel Snap period, but he has so much synergy in Pool 1 and 2. You can make reveal decks with him, you can make ongoing decks with him. You have so many options, okay? He is blessed, and if you got him, you are off to an incredible start. That he could have been number 1. He could have easily been number 1, but he sits at number 3. But anyways, I digress. Let's talk about Wong and the build that I think works best for him. So again, these are all Pool 1 and 2 cards. If you pull Wong early, I mean, it's the Spectrum combo. It's the Spectrum combo that you're after. You want to play Wong and you want to play Spectrum on top of him, and you get +4 to all your ongoing cards. That is absolutely insane. It's insane. And the incredible thing about it is basically +4 on Ebony Maw. Are you kidding me? That's incredible. Not to mention the +1s from Blue Marvel. This is insane. The combination is insane. And although when you play Wong, your opponent's gonna get scared. They're gonna be like, oh my God, he played Wong. I just lose. He's gonna have an insane combo. I can't defend this. I gotta retreat. Or you're gonna play Wong. He's like, I have Cosmo. And that's the problem, right? Because Wong is hard countered by Cosmo. Because if you play Wong, it's on turn 4. Sometimes you can play Wong on turn 5 to kind of protect him a little bit. Because no one wants to play Cosmo on turn 6. But anyways, if you play Wong and Cosmo slides out, you feel miserable. But the advantage to that is it's not over yet because he's still an ongoing card. So if you play Spectrum in another lane, he still gets +2, which is pretty damn good. But anyways, if you're playing Wong, a Wong going list is absolutely amazing. Pack as many ongoing cards as you can and let Wong and Spectrum do the work. Now, I know I talked up Wong a bunch. Who could possibly be better than that? Lockjaw. Lockjaw can be better. Listen, Lockjaw is absolutely incredible. If you unlock Lockjaw relatively early, yes, you're missing a couple key pieces that make him one of the best cards in the game in total, but he has so much natural synergy with Pool 1 and 2, it's wild, including with one of my favorite cards, Jubilee. Let's take a look at the deck. So basically, the thing you have to know about Lockjaw Jubilee is when you play a card into Lockjaw, it swaps with something in your deck. Well, if you play Jubilee on top of Lockjaw, she brings someone out, and then she swaps into the deck and pulls someone else out. It's like a 2-for-1. Who doesn't like BOGO, right? So that's exactly what Jubilee and Lockjaw do. So yes, this deck's a little top heavy. You have a couple, not Pool 1. You have a couple 1-drops is what I meant to say. Sorry guys, I'm talking too fast for myself. Anyways, you got a couple 1-drops. You have a Coccia who's great because obviously you buff your cards in the deck, which are great because that's the cards you're pulling. Right? Makes perfect sense. And then you have Scorpion. I like Scorpion because if you play Scorpion into the Lockjaw, you hit everybody for the -1 and then you swap out, right? It's basically free real estate there. And Wolfsbane is just a high value quality card that you can play as well. Just note that if you play Wolfsbane on top of Lockjaw, she'll proc, and then she'll get pulled in. So that's bad. So you want to play Wolfsbane in another lane with the Iceman, Nightcrawler, whatever. But generally speaking, if you have Nightcrawler or Iceman, you generally want to hold these cards until you can play into Lockjaw. So you could play Iceman on turn 1. If you pull the Nightcrawler, the advantage is you can move it out of the way and put another card into the Lockjaw. This is kind of where Lockjaw kind of flounders a bit because realistically Lockjaw really benefits from cards like Wasp that you can play in combination for 0 cost. So on turn 3 you play Wasp and you play Lockjaw at the same time. but that's kind of the limitation you have right now. You want big cards here. I mean, pulling Lockjaw and getting Vision is incredible, right? I've been a huge fan of Vision. I don't know, people might disagree with me, but I think he's awesome. The advantage to Odin, of course, is you can reproc Jubilee. Pulling Spider-Woman's fantastic. Chavez is always available for both Lockjaw and Jubilee until pulled. So you got a lot of synergy here. The pool 3 variant, like the deep pool 3 variant, is a little better, but you've got yourself a really fun deck that's going to help you win cubes. And the number 1 card to unlock early in pool 3 is Destroyer. It's by far the best. Why? Why, Alex? How could Destroyer be that good? Well, first of all, if you're in pool 3, I did a full beginner's guide on playing pool 3 Destroyer. I'll put it up there. It has full like gameplay examples, everything. But here's the thing. Look at this list. It's basically like my pool 3 list, except like minus a couple cards. You basically get rid of Green Goblin and you put in Hobgoblin. Like, guys, this list is insane. It's absolutely insane. As a pool 3 list, like, you literally are missing 2 cards. You're literally missing 2 cards, right? And Destroyer does so much work. And the way this generally works is you play Ant-Man into the armor lane. You end up zooing that lane with Warpath and whoever the hell else you want to play, Killmonger. And then what you do is you lock it with the Professor X. You don't even have to, because if you have armor and Professor X are used to defend from the Destroyer, because you don't want to destroy your other cards, right? If you do that, it's great. You play Nova into the 3rd lane. When it gets destroyed, it procs the Warpath +4 while also buffing your entire team. If you can't do that, like let's say you don't pull Professor X or armor and you want to play Destroyer without killing everybody, then you play Cosmo. You play Cosmo first, play Destroyer on top of him, and guess what? He doesn't kill everything. It just is not part of the strategy now. But so you have so many different win conditions here. Not to mention, if you're still in early 3, Killmonger is going to absolutely destroy Sunspot combos, right? And you might be thinking, Alex, why do you got Ant-Man then? Well, as I said, you want Ant-Man in the armored and Professor X location to get that +3. He has to be protected because Killmonger, you'll find yourself using quite often. But regardless, Destroyer is an absolutely insane card. The number 1 card, if you've unlocked early, you are absolutely blessed. Enjoy your climb to the top. Thank you guys so much for watching. Check out the other video I got down below if you're interested in seeing more about Marvel Snap. And most importantly, let me know in the comments what pool 3 cards you have now. I'd love to know. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thanks for hitting that like button, and we'll see you in that next Marvel Snap video.